I've received a request from Mr. Lukemeyer of Missouri to participate in today's hearing. Without objection, Mr. Lukemeyer, welcome. And as you all know, Mr. Lukemeyer has an interesting banking background. Good morning. The hearing will come to order. I've already struck the gavel, so don't you love that when they give you the instructions? Compliance with federal regulations creates costs for all businesses, but those costs are particularly burdensome for small businesses. The burdens are higher because of small businesses do not have the capacity, compliance staff, the ability to do regulatory arbitrage as larger organizations do. For the past several years, it has been difficult for small businesses and financial institutions. Many have been forced to close their doors or merge with others. And many times, larger financial institutions have acquired those. For those institutions that have survived the regulatory burden, has required staff to spend more time on compliance than on helping customers. If this trend continues, banking customers and credit union members will have less choice when it comes to accessing financial services. Regulators can play an important role in preserving the health of the financial service sector. They ensure that banks have sufficient resources to protect depositors and customers so they can continue to serve the needs of their communities. However, it is not aiding layers of regulation that makes institutions safer. It is smaller regulation that does not arbitrarily add costs without adding benefits. Today we will hear from a distinguished panel of experts who will discuss the current regulatory burden and tell us what effects these rules are having on their businesses. And with that, I'd like to yield to Ms. Chu. Would you like to do the opening statement for the Democrats? No, or when Ms. Clark shows up, we'll roll that in. On the side of this, in a previous life, I spent a lot of time on Dodd-Frank before being moved around on committees. And we've had this great question. I'm hoping actually we partially hear this from the panel of how much of it is preparing for the new regulatory environments, how much is actually complying with, how much is it just getting definitions and mechanics, and how much of it is also now coming from rule sets that may be being promulgated through the CFPB, and is the mechanics coming from that sort of a one-size-fits-all? So if you're a small regional credit union, is it appropriate to, in many ways, face some of the same rule sets that a money center financial institution will face?